From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. 26 European Union member states are advocating for an urgent humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, according to EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell. At a recent meeting, all EU nations except Hungary expressed concern over potential military action by Israel in Rafah, Gaza. They have warned of dire consequences for the densely populated area where many of Gaza's residents have fled to since Israel's war on the region began in October. Ireland's Foreign Minister Michael Martin stressed the catastrophic impact such an attack would have. International concern is mounting over Israel's reported plans for an assault on Rafah, prompting calls from numerous countries for restraint or cancellation of the operation.
The U.S. vetoed the latest attempt at the UN Security Council to demand an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the besieged Gaza Strip. The official death toll rapidly nears 30,000. The draft resolution put forward by Algeria received widespread support in the Council, with 13 of its 15 member states voting in favor. The U.S. was the sole nation to vote against it, and as a permanent Council member, its opposition killed the resolution. The U.K., another permanent member, abstained. The U.S. signaled its opposition Monday and put forward a competing draft resolution that called for a temporary truce as soon as practicable. But it failed to gain traction with diplomats. Tuesday's veto is the third the U.S. has exercised to shield Israel from ceasefire calls.
Brazil has recalled its ambassador from Tel Aviv after Israel's foreign minister declared President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva persona non grata. The move came after President da Silva likened Israel's actions in Gaza to genocide, escalating tensions between the two countries. At the African Union summit in Ethiopia's capital Addis Ababa last weekend, the Brazilian leader condemned the situation in Gaza. He emphasized its impact on civilians, particularly women and children. Da Silva asked who would rebuild destroyed homes and compensate for the thousands of lives lost and injured. His comments were endorsed by the African Union, which condemned Israel's actions as brutal.
Está vendo que na faixa de Gaza não está acontecendo uma guerra, mas um genocídio. De que não é uma guerra entre soldados e soldados, é uma guerra entre um exército altamente preparado e mulheres e crianças. Sabe o que está acontecendo na faixa de Gaza com o povo palestino? Não existe nenhum outro momento histórico. Aliás, existiu quando Hitler resolveu matar os judeus. Quando eu vejo o mundo rico anunciar que está parando de dar contribuição para a questão humanitária aos palestinos, eu fico imaginando qual é o tamanho da consciência política dessa gente e qual é o tamanho do coração solidário dessa gente.
Palestine is calling for an immediate end to the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories and the apartheid system enforced by Israel at the International Court of Justice, or ICJ. Palestine is presenting its case during hearings at The Hague, which will run until February 26th. It is being represented by Foreign Minister Riyad Malki and UN Envoy Riyad Mansour, alongside legal experts. The hearings are separate from South Africa's case, which has accused Israel of committing genocidal acts against Palestinians. Palestine's case at the ICJ this week aims to address Israel's prolonged occupation. It has outlined how Israel's policies constitute apartheid, with human rights watchdog group Amnesty International urging Israel to halt what it called Israel's brutal occupation. This marks the second time the ICJ has been requested by the UN General Assembly to make a judgment regarding Palestinian territories. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has previously denounced the UN's involvement in the issue as despicable and disgraceful. In July 2004, the World Court found that Israel's separation wall in the occupied West Bank violated international law and should be shut down. Almost 2 decades later, the wall remains.
Ending Israel's impunity is a moral, political, and legal imperative. Successive Israeli governments have given the Palestinian people only 3 options: displacement, subjugation, or death. Yet, for decades, the Palestinian people have been denied this right and have endured both colonialism and apartheid. There are those who are outraged by the use of these words, They should instead be outraged by the reality we are living.
We're bringing more news stories after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. UN experts have expressed grave concern over reports of rape and sexual assault against Palestinian women and girls held in Israeli detention. The experts, who are affiliated with the UN's Human Rights Council, have received disturbing accounts of multiple forms of sexual abuse. These include rape and threats of violence, instances of strip searches conducted by male Israeli officers, and the circulation of demeaning images online have been highlighted. One Palestinian woman was reported to have been held in adverse weather conditions in a cage. Since October 7th, hundreds of Palestinian women and girls have been arbitrarily detained. They have reportedly endured inhumane treatment, such as sexual assault, beatings, and denial of basic necessities like food, medicine, and menstrual products. The UN is calling for urgent action to address these human rights violations. High school students across New York City walked out of their classes on Friday to protest Israel's war on Palestine. It was their second mass-coordinated action against the war. Students say they continue to organize protests despite attempts by school administrators to intimidate and censor them. Seattle police are describing an attack on a local Muslim woman as a hate crime. The incident occurred on February 12th at the victim's workplace. Wielding a knife, the attacker came from behind and put her in a chokehold. He then made derogatory remarks about Islam and her ethnicity, mentioning Israel and Iran. The assailant also forcibly removed and stole the woman's hijab. The Council on American Islamic Relations is urging anyone with information to assist the investigation. The Abandon Biden movement has now reached Pennsylvania from Michigan, where it started in December. It aims to encourage Muslim voters and allies in swing states to withdraw support from President Joe Biden for his relentless support for Israel and its latest war on Palestine. In Pennsylvania, it is being led by Hayla Solomon, who has accused Biden of neglecting both American citizens and global humanity. If successful, the movement could significantly affect Biden's electoral success. Swing states like Pennsylvania are critical for his re-election bid against former President Donald Trump. China is showcasing its inaugural domestically manufactured passenger jet, the C919, at the Singapore Airshow this week. The move marks China's bid to challenge Airbus and Boeing's market supremacy while diminishing the country's reliance on foreign technology. The C919 is a single-aisle aircraft emerging as a contender against Airbus's A320 and Boeing's 737 MAX. Two Chinese air service firms have placed orders for 40 C919 units and 16 ARJ-21 aircraft during the air show. This indicates potential market interest in China's offerings in the aviation industry. California has launched 2 free behavioral health apps to help children, teenagers, and young adults up to age 25. Recent statistics have revealed a 20% increase in adolescent suicides between 2019 and 2021 in the state. The Brightline app is aimed at younger children, while Soluna targets teens and young adults. The apps will be administered by the Department of Health Care Services. The aim is to reduce the strain on mental health services in California, which are facing shortages and longer wait times. This is especially the case for those without insurance or with low incomes. The initiative is part of Governor Gavin Newsom's Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative. Presidential historians surveyed by the American Political Science Association have ranked President Joe Biden as the 14th best president in U.S. history. Biden had an average score of approximately 62 out of 100, placing him 2 spots above Ronald Reagan. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump received the lowest ranking, landing at the bottom of the list. Abraham Lincoln claimed the top spot with an average score of 95. Over 150 specialists participated in the survey, evaluating each president's leadership and performance throughout history. A recent Emerson College polling survey on the 2024 presidential election predicts a close contest between former President Donald Trump and incumbent President Joe Biden. The results show Trump with 45% support, Biden with 44%, and 11% undecided. Trump leads among voters without a college degree, while Biden leads among college-educated voters. Concerning voter doubts, 58% expressed serious reservations about Biden's age impacting their vote, while 57% are similarly concerned about Trump's criminal indictments. However, 42% do not consider Biden's age a significant factor, and 43% feel the same regarding Trump's legal issues. Experts say the poll underscores the potential influence of demographic factors and personal concerns on the upcoming presidential election. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.